3, 2, 1. Get it. Get it. Are we live?
We're live, boss.
Are we live? You know the drill. I don't fucking wait. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, X to the D to the A to the L to the Y. There is a bunch of other stuff that I can't say anymore. The elitists have been on top of their game, but eventually it will be back. Let's just come up with some new shit. Come on, Dales. Do something else, you fucking mutt. Anyways, we got a big show tonight. It is 1 week before. Well, I'm sorry. It's Thursday, so we got basically another week before the playoffs are starting. Everyone has their stats in. Congratulations. Shout out to Kiefer, man. You're my dude. I know you got a little fucking blood hurt, buddy. I still love you. But the stats got to get in, man. And, I warned everybody in the beginning of the season that I'm a douchebag when it comes to that because we're trying to run a production over here. And the stats are important. But I'm happy because all the stats are up to date. So shout out to all the captains. But before we get into that, let's introduce everybody to the panel. I'll send it to none other than – man, this guy has been AFK for weeks. And then he has the audacity to go on the Elitist show and chirp. Anyways, welcome, Mr. Ferguson, agent, back to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Hey, I made it. I wasn't on last week. I was on the week before, man. I'm busy. I'm busy. I can't really control it. But every time I'm home, I tell you, if I'm home, I'm on, man. I never miss a show if I'm home. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to do a little chirping today. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth on a few specific teams. I don't know if anybody read the post, but you'll get to see them as they kind of come up here. But I'll let you hear with the other host here, Mr. Ability. How we doing tonight?
Me, man. I am always ecstatic and jacked up, man. I am jacked up for the Thursday Throwdown, and it's mainly because I love all you sexy 239ers, except for Agent, who always misses shows. We're going to work on that, though. We got things in the making here.
Always.
Where are we rolling with this tonight?
Man.
Yeah, no, man. Ability's working on some things. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. But we got season number 6. The playoffs are upon us, and everything is starting to take shape, and I love it. I love it. I'll be honest, in the beginning of the season, when stuff started to happen, I was a little bit worried about how league parity was going to fall. I was a little bit worried about what was going to happen with the standings, and it seemed like there was going to be 4 or 5 runaway teams, and everything else was going to be shit. That has now since corrected itself. Some teams that were playing like poo-poo are now not playing like poo-poo. Some of the teams that hadn't had games played have now caught up. So the standings are a bit more reflective of what's happening. So I'm super excited going into it. But let's take a look. First topic, man. Let's jump right into it. And what we're going to do today is there's kind of specific things that I touched on. If you guys saw my Throwdown post, specific things that I touched on, because I think these are ultimately the things that will do or die these teams for the most part. So let's take a look at Netflix and Chell. So Pale Poner, man, he's had like quite the season. So Pale's obviously not with us tonight. I think he's working. Big series tonight. Huge series tonight for him. But before we get into that, his team has 3 games in hand and are currently tied for 8th in the league. They have 30 points. They are controlling their own fate. Now, Pale got a new job. All of a sudden, his availability went to shit. He's having to reschedule all these series, so there's that adversity to begin with. Then he trades for Hockey Kid. That seems to be working, only for Hockey Kid's dad to legitimately pwn him from Xbox for whatever the grades or being dumb. I don't know, but he no longer is playing with us. And Pale picks up, hi, my name is Ed off waivers, and he's just kind of rocking it. So they control their own fate, but Pale has a very tough schedule. He still has to play the drop past Murphys. He still has to play We Give 60, and I believe the other team is Swift Pups. I'm not 100% sure. That's 3 teams currently sitting in the top 5. I believe he does play worst case Ontario as well. So my question is strength of schedule going to ultimately be the demise for Netflix and Chell on why they would make the playoffs? Or do you, Agent, think that they are going to make it to the playoffs?
Honestly, I was going to take the question anyways. I think that they're going to do well. They played us. They actually I believe they swept us, if I remember right, ability, right? We had an off night. Without that series, our team would be on a 15-plus game winning streak right now. So they played really well when we played them. We gave them opportunities, and they took advantage of them. So they are a team that can still hurt you. I don't even think Hockey Kid even played in that series yet. So, they are a team that can hurt you. They are a team that can play really well together, and that's really what it's going to take. And they're going to have some really, really solid goaltending out of line back there. Without that, I see that if line play is excellent, they're going to win. If line doesn't stand on its head 3 games every night, night in, night out, that team's in trouble. That's my honest to God thoughts.
So ultimately, Agent feels that it's not even going to be about the schedule as much as it's going to be on the play of the goaltender. Lime. Now, Lime, as we all know, has really catapulted himself into another category. He's having a similar run, although the numbers might not reflect it. If you're watching the games with the eye test, this guy has been phenomenal. He is making that. I feel like he's in that DJ realm where it took a couple seasons for DJ to make that jump. And I feel like Lime is right there. The squeeze himself is this close to squeezing his way into that elite goaltender status here at 239. And I'm excited to see it, man. It's a young guy. By the way, if you ever see him, he's always posting positive stuff. He's a good dude. Love it. He's a great guy, great member for the league. Ability, you're a goalie yourself. Does this team live and die with Lime having to stand on his head, or do you feel that ultimately the strength of schedule will demise this team?
I don't know, man, because in all honesty, if I'm being fair here, that team shouldn't have won a game against my team, and they ended up pulling out a sweep.
But they did.
But they ended up pulling out the sweep, okay? So I'm not going to put anything past Netflix and chill. And part of that is because I underestimated a couple players on that team. Sometimes teams show up, and sometimes players really perform best under pressure. So what I'm seeing here is that, Derek GNR, solid player, and he's helping out that team a lot. Pale's really got some key players here. Wizzy Ward's got a lot of chemistry with. He likes the guy. They've got built chemistry there. Sniper, he solidified himself a season ago playing. I might be getting my seasons mixed up, but he has solidified himself as just being fantastic on D. So the Lime, he's about the exact opposite of me right now. He's saving shots. And he's doing what a goalie's supposed to do. So he did stand on his head in our series also. I think that a lot of this team's success is going to fall on his shoulders. But with that being said, Pale shows up, when you least expect it. He finds ways to do things that you just don't see coming. So I'm not going to count them out by any means. I think that this team is going to be one of them fighting their way into it. We'll see how it pans out.
And, you bring up a good point, man. I think Sniper is a guy who doesn't get enough due. I think he's a really good player all around, but I think he's a really good left defenseman. He fits in nicely. The line, like I said, the line can't say enough good things. Derek's really found a home at D. He's been solid for him all season. Obviously, losing Hockey Kid is rough. I think getting Hi, my name is Ed. Excuse me. Wow. It adds this dynamic. And this is just looking at the roster, and I said it last week. If Pale could go get himself a defenseman, you have Sniper who can play a very legitimate left wing. And he plays within a system that Pale likes. He plays a style that Pale likes. So moving Ed to left D, which I think is his off D, and moving Sniper to left wing, now you have Sniper, Wizzy, Warren, Pale. I like it. I do. I like this dynamic. I think that I really think that Lime is good enough to play net and allow Ed that time to really adapt to playing lefty. I think that's the play because Cokester literally has 3 games played. He's not even like a thing. So unless you plan on using Hi, my name is Ed up front, which doesn't make sense, I think that Sniper is going to get some looks at wing. So I'm kind of digging this lineup a lot more. Now, their strength of schedule, to me, is what ultimately could be their demise. They play the drop pass Murphys. They play We Give 60, and I'm pretty sure they play Swift Pups. I don't have it up right now. That's a really tough run. Now, they do have Worst Case Ontario in there. Worst Case Ontario picked up a win versus Raising Cane. Shout out to Mick Swagger, a.k.a. Kiefer. And they're grinding. They're trying to play spoiler right now. So
I have one other side of that. Just saying. Do you know from Pale, is he putting Sniper up on winger or not? Or you're just assuming?
I'm when I look at the roster and just knowing the skill sets of the players and what everybody can do, to me, that's the only play.
Okay,
That's
because
the
what I'm
only
saying
play.
is I had Hide My Name's Ed as a waiver last season when we had the old seven toes, seven caves club, and we put him up on winger. We put him on left wing, and the dude, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 games, but I mean he played great. He put in 2 goals, an assist or two assists. So I argue the fact because Pale is a very good forward. Pale and Wizzy Ward play awesome together. All Ed would have to do is push up on the right stick campaign. Sorry, I'm stealing Astro's fucking saying, but push up on the right stick. That's all he'd have to do. And he did that for us. So I think that Ed would fit just fine in that left wing if he needed him there. Because when he played for us last season, he played it great. So I would be one to say that he can play up there.
And that's good too. Like I said, I'm just thinking now I'm talking down the stretch and then playoffs. Like I feel like I'm just thinking dynamic. Maybe here's the thing, Ed's a good defenseman. So like you're not losing a ton defensively. Obviously, Sniper is a better D than Ed. So you're losing that, but you're gaining so much more because I think that Sniper instantly becomes the best left wing. Like I felt like he was the best left wing on that team for a while. Like, I mean, when you look at who he has. So I don't necessarily think it's as much a slight against Ed because I think that D is his best position, but I think that Sniper gives you this dynamic up front. He's shifty. He can create space. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But Pale has options, and I guess that's the most important thing. But he has those games in hand, and that's going to be pivotal. He truly does control his own fate. So it's going to be availability, showing up, and all that, and then obviously the strength of schedule. They're going to have to win some big series, not just games. They're going to have to win these series to get in because some of the other teams ahead of them don't have as strong as schedules, we'll say, moving forward. So that is Netflix and chill. Next team up, oh man, early season favorites. I think that this team originally constructed people thought was going to destroy. That's the Praetorian Guard. This is DJ's team. Edge, Tom FTW, Thamps. You had Yambag early on. You had DJ and Net. Marty McFly and Lefty. Everybody was super, super high on this team. Super high on this team. It just didn't work. Marty was having issues adjusting to D. He's playing forward now. It seems to be going a lot better. Yambag, for whatever reason, got moved. He's having one of his best seasons pretty much that I've ever seen him have. Thamps was off to a rocket hot start. Tom is Tom. Edge was chipping in his points. For whatever reason, it's just not working. And now they find themselves not only in, I believe they're in 9th place currently, but they're going to need some help because the teams ahead of them, Imagination Land, Raising Cane is in there. We'll get to them in a second. Chili Con Carnage is playing really, really good puck. Is there going to be a world ability where we see a team that everybody so highly touted legitimately not make the playoffs?
Ooh. I mean, it's possible, but I would like to say no. I don't understand how this team isn't right up there. There's a lot of good teams in this league this season, but I don't know how this one is not up there. It does make me scratch my head a little bit. My team got a chance to. We ran into DJ's squad the other night, and we played back-to-back games, and we had a good time. The games were fun. They were competitive. These guys are playing well. I think that even on defense, the guys back there for the Praetorian Guard, they're holding it down. So I don't know why these guys aren't pulling out more wins, but something needs to change here. I don't know what's not being utilized. I said it on a prior throwdown. If all else fails, just kick the puck to the point, let him throw it on net, and see what kind of deflections that Tom can get because he excels at that. I don't know, man. I haven't seen enough of their games to really decipher what the problem is. But man, guys, get it together. Get some wins here.
Yeah, and Asian, what do you think, man? I mean, we were all high, especially in that forward lineup. I think the forward core was what everyone was looking at. Edge finished 6th in scoring back in season 2 or 3. The season is slipping me, so that offensive skill set is there. Tom finished 3rd or 4th in points last year. Thamps, a known commodity, 2-way player. And he's great offensively, even more so he can bury the puck. Is this kind of surprising? Is this a team that could legitimately just not make the playoffs? They shoot themselves in the foot.
I I don't know who put him first in their power rankings, but I believe it's Mac, and I totally agree with it at the beginning of the season just by looking at the roster. Okay, but now when you're getting into the season, you go looking into their team, go look at some of the stats, and now you kind of think about it a little bit. I mean, who's on the defensive end to solidify that D? Who's on the D to carry their other partner? I mean, Nectar is a great defenseman, but I, in my own opinion, don't see him as a number one D guy. I think he either needs another person of equal level, equal skill level, or better with him. And I don't know if he has that on the team. I think that might be part of the downfall. I don't see DJ playing the same ability as he did last season. DJ played out of his mind last season. Everybody saw it. That's why I think he went into goalie again this season because he knew he played it so well. So I think it's a combination of so many things. That offense, which looks like it should be a high power offense, and they're, what are they, like fourth from the bottom in goals for? Yeah, fourth place for least goals. So I mean, that's crazy. Nobody in their right mind. Everybody, I honestly thought this was going to be a top 3 scoring team. Maybe their defense was going to struggle, but their offense would carry them through, and that's not happening. So I don't think you can put the one blame on anything. I think it's a total team thing of, your forwards aren't producing like everybody expected them to. The defense might not be playing like they should be. I think it's a total team. I don't know. Maybe DJ should have made a different changeup. There's so many things that you can say now that the season's almost over, so it's tough to say.
And I'm trying to pull. It's tough because I'm trying to look at the schedule right now. I think that strength of schedule plays such a important role in how these things happen. Like, who have you played? Who do you play? I know there's a lot of teams that are going to be beating each other up over the next couple of weeks, especially in that 6, 7, 8, 9 seed. And I know the Praetorian Guard, I believe they play Bullet Club tonight. I'm sorry. I'm looking ever so vigorously. Yes. So they play the Bullet Club tonight. Now, Tommy and the boys, the fate is all but sealed, man. But they're going to show up. They're going to get after it. Tommy had a late run last year. That's Thomas Billing. For all of you who don't know, Thomas Billing. But they made a run last year late, actually, or 2 seasons ago, almost snuck into the playoffs. Clancy, Ozzy, those boys are going to show up for it. Gosh, man, this is a 6-point series. I think Praetorian Guard, and I'll say this right now on the air, I think Praetorian Guard to have any chance, they have to sweep this series. It's got to be 6 points tonight. No ifs, ands, or buts. If they don't get 6 tonight, now all of a sudden I think everything it's out of your hands at this point. And they play Knights of the Frozen Throne next week. That's the number 3-2 team right now. And then who's their next series against? They play against Imagination Land. That's another team fighting for a spot. So again, in my opinion, tonight's got to be 6. This is a series you should win. It's a series not you have to win. You're playing for your playoff lives tonight, especially with Netflix and Chell 1 point behind you. 1 point behind you, and they have 3 games in hand. So this is going to be super, super important. The last thing that you want is to have to literally hope for somebody else's help. So
look, I know my boy Tom is going to show up tonight. Okay, he's silent but deadly. I just want to see Thamps and Edge just fucking have at it, man. Get psyched. Take a monster drink or something. Flex your guns. Give him a little kiss if you need to. Go out there and fire the puck. And DJ, man, I'm telling you right now, there's a difference. There's a difference when you don't need it so much and then when you need it. This is where the all-stars shine, bro, and you guys need this one. So go out there and play your fucking best. Get this shit done. Sorry, Thomas Billings. Thomas Billings.
Is it Billings? No, it's not plural. It's singular. Sorry, I was getting the G chat through. Mr. James Johnson's posting eggplants and shit on my thing, and it keeps popping up. So, next team I got on the dock is Chile Con Carnage. Now, this is another team that everybody was super high on to begin the season. That was back when Pogs had Shock as his goalie, and then before the season starts, he trades away his goalie to get, I think it was Floaty, who's been a monster for him. But, Pogs is the guy's like, oh, you don't need a fucking goalie. I was listening to the Elitists the other day. I remember him saying that, and then I remember him vigorously trying, and that's the second time I've said that word, but he was so aggressively trying to find a goalie, and he seems to have found it with Peaceful Bob and Slicky. He's running the hot hand right now. He's playing, it looks like Slicky's, they're like splitting games or something. Like they're each playing, but it's kind of like weird. They control their own fate. They play We Give 60. but I think they play a couple other easier series. To me, these guys are a lock. I don't feel like in any sort of other world they don't make it, but this is the time for them to really hash things up. The big thing I've seen in the Chili Cone Carnage series is that they play very up and down. In the preseason, they played a lot of East West, and watching Surprise Me play, I know they use the big builds, the power forwards, and stuff like that, but it's like this. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down, cherry pick, up and down. And I feel like versus the good D-men, they've been exposed. So that's my thing. They're sure a lock to get in. But, Agent, what do you think about Chili Cone Carnage? What position do you actually see them ending up in? Are they going to be a 4 seed or a 3 seed? I think that's highly unlikely. Or do you see them kind of sitting in that 5-6 realm?
Who's the remaining games then?
I'll look it up while touch on it, but touch on like the gameplay, and I'll get the schedule.
I think just by looking at the team, I mean, you kind of touched on. I mean, surprised me. He kind of runs and drives the team. You know, Pogs is going to do what he does. Pogs isn't the guy that does anything extra too much. He's positionally sound. He makes the passes when they're there. You know, and he's a good vocal guy. I mean, if you're in the wrong spot, you're going to fucking hear it. You know, if you're the reason for giving up a goal, you're going to hear it. But he's not. He doesn't say it in negative ways. Like, you know, he's a good captain. He's a good leader. He just, I don't know. I think that team needs something else. I don't know if it happens to be Surprise Me trying to involve somebody else in the team or in the scoring end of it. Because you go look at it, I mean, it's Surprise Me and it's a large drop off to get down to Pog, you know. So how many of those goals are unassisted goals? There's a lot of them that got to be coming.
So to your point, so they actually played the Diddling Danglers, who are currently also fighting for a playoff spot. They play Netflix and Shell, who are fighting for a playoff spot. And then I'm currently finding the other game. It seems like in their world, they have, I don't want to say favorable schedule because those are a couple teams who are fighting for playoff spots. And when I say it like Netflix and Shell, they're fighting for a spot. But it's definitely serious for Chili Con that they should win. So I'm interested to see. Oh, they play us. Duh. They play We Give 60, Netflix and Shell, and then Diddling Danglers. That's 3 teams who are potential playoff teams. So these are not just throwaway series. These are not just easy series. Pogs and the boys need to get after it. And I feel like they need, and I know what surprised me is, but he gets out in space quick. And you've seen it versus the good D-men. He has been stopped. I think I watched the Swift Pup series, and I watched Rondon Volante just absolutely surprise me up, just absolutely eat him up. So I think that's something that Pogs and the boys have to go back to the drawing board and see. They might tell me that I'm stupid and have no idea what I'm talking about, which would be fine. It wouldn't be the first time somebody told me that. But Ability, what are you seeing? I think you guys swept this team. Is my analysis right, wrong? What do you think?
No, I don't think we swept them. I don't think.
Did they sweep you?
That might have been a little bit more like what happened.
Because you didn't have me.
These guys, man, they are. Surprise Me. He is a cherry picker, but he's getting good at it. I wanted to hate on the guy, and then I remember just watching him. I'm like, how did you get through there? How did you get through that little tiny space and then just pwn me? Appreciate it. Thanks, man. These guys, in my opinion, are a lock for sure. I think that they have enough firepower on this squad that it really doesn't matter who they run into on their way to the playoffs. These teams that are fighting for a spot, in all honesty, the worst thing a team could do, especially going up against Con Carnage here, is to underestimate them at all, because these guys will come out, they will fire the puck at you, and they will do some things you don't expect, and they'll score. So I like this team. I think that this could actually be one of those teams that pulls off a surprise victory in the playoffs. I know I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but I do like the squad. And I can't pronounce half their names right, but, it is what it is, man. They all play good as a unit. And I like Slicky as goalie. Peaceful Bob, he's done his thing. He's doing well. He's done well. I don't know if he's been given as much of an opportunity to really showcase it as he should. But, Bob's come a long way playing net. So I like the team. I hope that Zlo never scores another goal on me again in my life. Thanks.
And that was another thing, too, I was going to touch on. I know Zlo was a net for them. It wasn't working out. He's come out to 4, and he's been absolutely killing the score sheet for them as well. So something is working. Surprised me, seems to like playing with him as per the games I'm looking at. It allows them to move Floaty back to D. Him and Brad have been tearing it up back there, and it's just going to be the goalie play. If the goalie play can be there, they're going to be an exciting team. I think, again, they're a lock, just looking at the points and who they have some tough series, but I feel like a lot of those series are going to be close. I think they're going to get the 6 points. I feel like 5 or 6 points needed to get them in. Now, where they seed, I'm not sure. But honestly, it's going to be a tough first round series for them, regardless, whether it's 6, 5, 4, which is where I have them penciled in that range. I mean, they're going to be playing somebody solid. So, like I said, shout out to Pogs, man. First time captain here. He's been doing it for quite some time, but he's killing it over there. So hopefully they can figure it out. Like I said, the one thing that I noticed was that, but the guy's second in the league in points. So it's really hard for me to sit here and really roast him when he's getting production. You know, I've done the same thing to Cosmic Fade. I've said the same things about Cosmic Fade, and guess what? He's third in the league in points. So what he's doing is working. So surprise me falls in that same category. So it really doesn't matter what the fuck I think because he's producing. So
wait, real quick for the record. Cosmic Fate is a beast, legendary beast at that. Thank you.
Listen, if you could, you know, that's illegal in every fucking state ever. You need to kindly remove his penis from your mouth and his balls from your chin.
I just wish that was in our team chat. I would have chirped him right back.
He's 16. Okay. He's 16,
I got it all out there.
Got it all out there. Listen,
dude, our party's jails. That's something to be in itself, man. The chirping back and forth never ends. Winning or losing, it is fucking nonstop.
Well, all I know is that Cosmic Faye could hit ability in the eye with his 16-year-old wiener. That's a thing.
Okay. Now, what you really need to know here is that if you land on an X ability X squad, you are a champion. You've made it into a legendary category where champions are born, folks. Okay, that's what you need to know. Cosmic Faye, keep doing your thing, champ.
Oh my God, this guy is a fucking mess today. It's because he worked 11 hours on the foot. So now he comes on here like he's just a mess. Like, anyways, we love him though. We do. We love Ryan. So it's a thing. Next is Raising Cane. And okay, let's talk about this. I won't say more than this because apparently I'm in hot water for opening my mouth too much. The captain's chat is a sanctuary. So I won't divulge the information that was spoken today. However, there was a point today that I wanted to kill Yambag and Dominator Silva. After 10 hours of banter, I literally wanted to stab them. Both.
How am I not surprised?
And I love them both. I love them both. The dialogue of the conversation is moot. Just know that I wanted to stab them both in a loving way. And as loving death as I could give to them, that's how I wanted it to be. Now, Raising Cane goes out there and takes 4 points against We Give 60. There's only been one other team or two other teams that have been able to do that this season, and that was Frozen Throne and #Chem. Everybody else has not been able to do that. And Raising Cane, who's an under 500 team, took We Give 60 to the max and outplayed them enough to win that series. Raising Cane is on cloud 9. They look so good in that series. They were playing so good, the unit, everything. Then they go out their next series and they lose the game to McSwagger's team. And this isn't, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to slight on McSwagger, but if you go out and beat We Give 60, that's a series that you got to get 6 points, especially when you're grinding for a playoff series. You cannot afford to give up 2 points. And then last night against a #Chem team that has seemingly not been able to do anything right, you go out and you get swept. And now you're sitting here, and if you would have asked me a week ago, is Raising Cane a legitimate playoff team, I would have said yes, because I saw it. I saw the potential. I saw the skill set. I saw everything. And now I'm sitting here looking at it. They have 36 games played. They're currently sitting in the 6th seed, okay, with 33 points. Chili Con Carnage has matched that number with 6 games in hand. Imagination Land is 2 points behind, 6 games in hand. Praetorian Guard, 3 points behind, 6 games in hand. I'm being told it wasn't a sweep. Regardless, they lost the series that needs, no offense to Chelsea and Kayla and Dom, but a team that is struggling that bad with their goaltending, with their defense, with their offense. You can't lose. You can't. You gotta get 6, especially when you're playing for the playoffs. You're playing for the playoffs. You have to get it. Netflix and Chell has 30 points, so they're 33. They have 9 games. Think about that. 9 games. You could go 2-7 and pass Raising Cane into the playoffs. 2-7. That's miserable, but that's all it takes. So Raising Cane is going to need some serious help. I just don't see it. Agent, is there any way that Raising Cane can get in?
Honestly, I don't know. The team we face is 100% different than the team that anybody else is facing now. After the series after us, there was trade made, So I think it's going to be really tough. I mean, I think with their play in the last half of a week, I think they played themselves out of the playoffs. There's my honest thoughts. And I feel bad saying that because Rome's a great dude. Rome's a great captain, he's a great player. And Kinky, the freaking girl has faced 570 shots. She's faced, over 100 more shots than any other goalie in the league, And shit happens, man. So that makes it tough, and she's still posting an 80% save percentage, which is really, really impressive for what that team's gone through, lineup changes, never having the same people every night, So I think it's a combination of so many things, but I think their play in the last week has pretty much, I really think, played themselves out of playoffs. I think teams that are below them in the standings currently are a better team as they sit right now. And I see that showing as the games get played. I think the standings are going to obviously find themselves out or line themselves up. And I think Raising Cane's going to see themselves falling in the 9-10 spot and falling out of playoffs coming here at the end of next week.
It's a perfect example of kind of like a too little too late bit. Ability, are you kind of in the same realm? I know you're a Yambag guy, but is it just a little bit too late for this team?
Yeah, well, me being a Yambag guy has little to do with the trials and tribulations this team has been put through this season. The initial trades that King Rome made probably were the downfall of what started the trend with this team. Where he's at now, this squad right here probably would have been a playoff team had he had it all season. It's not that I'm a Yambag guy. What it is that I keep my eyes on specific players. He happens to be one of them. And over the seasons, I've seen a lot of increased productivity out of Yam. I've seen a little bit of try hard. Okay. All right. Don't take that too far, but I've seen a little bit of it. I like what I'm seeing, though. I like this team, too. King Rome, Kinky, they have had a lot of conversation and communication with trying to build something. I know they've worked together a lot to make this happen. And this team that they have now, it's a good team. Their last series they went through, Chelsea and Rev and Dom, they were due to have a decent series. It just happened to be against this team. That's unfortunate. It probably did move Raising Cane out of the playoffs when this is all said and done. Only because, those 6 games are 6 big games. I don't know, man. I like the team. And shocked, too, man. Being on this squad now, there's no way this team, in my opinion, doesn't make the playoffs if they had this team the entire season. But as it sits right now, Marty McFly and the boys, they are probably on their way to Disneyland. Not in a good way, though.
That's okay, man. Listen, that team is full of PUBGers, so they can all go circle jerk and play that game. So it's not an ultimate loss. By the way, I'm not very good at any games other than NHL, and you could be debated that I'm even good at that. But I'm here to tell you something. I repeat, do not play PUBG with Steven Camarellas, a.k.a. Time to Get Steven, a.k.a. Drift King. He will watch you die, and he will not save you. I have never been more emo playing a video game than I was playing PUBG, a game that I am already AIDS at, with Drift King. Never again. You have been warned.
Did you say something about Hansel Roberto? I missed it.
Oh, man. No. Oh, is that what we're doing still? Are we still doing the Drift as Hansel bit? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
he is. Whatever.
Should we take another league poll? I think we should. Let me set this up, please.
I don't want to be like super emo. No, because here's the thing. Here's why. I like Brian too much. AK No Regretskis. I like Esoteric too much. By the way, the countdown is on. T-minus 40 days. Me and Eso had a nice conversation today. 40 days until X to the D to the ASL until Y is taking over the East Coast. We will be there. We'll be getting after it. Can't wait for that. But I like these guys too much to make Drift emo. I don't want to do that. Because he's probably emo right now, so sorry in advance. But making Drifty, he's can be rough. We love him. Again, he's like your brother, like your little brother. Like, oh man, you're so fucking annoying, but you love him. So it's just a thing. Next up, me and Ryan have had great debates about this team. That is Imagination Land. Now, we had made a bet a couple weeks ago as the team sat. What did we think was going to happen? That was before they traded for McGilla, who immediately, and this is no disrespect to the D-men on the team, but immediately became the best defenseman on that squad. Gives them a little bit of continuity. I think Chew Therapy is the better player. No offense, Mags. You know I love you. One love, dog. Even though it's been 10 years and you won't hang out with me. But here's the thing is that Chew's not here. So for Josto to get a solid D-man like McGilla, the trade worked for both teams because Noah Gretzky's had 3 defensemen that he was comfortable playing. He goes out and gets a guy like Chew Therapy, who, like I said, was the best player in the deal. He can play center, he can play wing, he can play D, he can give you all these different things. He's the best player in the deal, but McGilla gives you that rock on lefty. Imagination Land immediately became better by having him on that squad. So that was a great trade, I think, for Josto. Looking at it still, excuse me, the standings are Imagination Land, in my opinion, is going to need some help still. Now, I'm going to pull up the schedule when I send this off because I think they actually have a favorable draw the rest of the way, if I remember correctly. But the problem is that you have 2 teams underneath them with games in hand, and they're only a couple points behind. So Imagination Land is currently death gripped onto that 8th seed with 31 points. You have Praetorian Guard, 30, same amount of games. Netflix and Shell, 30 points, 3 games in hand. They only played 27. And then you have the Diddling Danglers, who we're going to get to here shortly, 28 points in 30 games. 2 wins by either team, a win by Netflix and Shell and 2 wins by Danglers bumps them out of the playoffs. So at this very moment, Imagination Land no longer controls their fate. Next week is going to be exciting, but if I know Brick City like I do, he does not like not being in control of a situation. Figo does not like being in control of a situation. Josto does not like not being in control of a situation. This is affecting these guys. I think that you're going to see a different Imagination Land. I am reverting what I said, and this is a big part of this is because of the McGilla trade. I do think Imagination Land will sneak into the postseason, and I think they are going to be an awfully tough draw for a team in round 1. Now, I'm going to send this over to Ability because you were the one that I was debating with. And when this trade came through, I told you, I said, this changes things. But while I pull up their schedule, man, what do you think about Imagination Land? And are they going to be able to sneak in?
Oh, man. Well, obviously I like the team, right? They got a couple multi-champs on that team. McGilla being added to the roster definitely did increase the defense. And when that happened, I went to Daly and I said, look, man, I'm going to let you out of the bet. Because as soon as McGilla jumped on there, it's kind of like, both of us were on the same page here. You're probably making the playoffs. The strength that puts on the team on the defensive end of things really is an increase. Now, I know that because I've had some inside conversations that this team still doesn't necessarily feel, a couple of the players don't necessarily feel like they've got it locked in the bag. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a big personality on that team. There's a couple big personalities on that team, and you guys find ways to make incredible things happen. So don't coward or have any doubt in you. Just keep making incredible things happen, and you're going to find your way in the playoffs. I think what we're going to see here is there's a couple teams fighting for these spots. The ones who really want it, obviously, right? They're the ones that are going to go out there and try and get it. I know these guys want it. That's why they're actually – I agree with what Daly said. If they get into the playoffs, they're going to be a tough draw for somebody. But you guys got to get there first. And a couple players from that team, now Brick and Figo chirping me last night, and what did I say? Talk to me when you get in the playoffs. All right, bro? All right, so make it happen,
boys.
boys.
Locked in the playoff or in a series, it's fine.
I mean, God, listen, man. I love Ability. I don't know what's worse, though. Getting chirped by Ability or getting chirped by Yambag. They're both equally shit. Or getting chirped by Crazy Eddie Killer.
Yikes.
It's just shitty. Listen. Not shitty. Cold. Not shitty as players. That's not what I mean. That's nothing to do with. No, it has nothing to do with play. It's just like you just know because it's like this this like fucking just smirk. They got this fucking smirk. You ever seen Yambag smirk? It's just like, oh yeah, Daly, get fucking beat by Ray. I'm just like, oh, I just want to fucking hit you in the face with my wiener because I hate it. I just fucking hate it. And Ability's got like that similar smirk, and you're just like, fuck, I gotta stare at this shit for all of season number 6 because he won the goddamn belt. Anyways, listen, here's the thing. Imagination plays worst case Ontario tonight. That'll be 6 points. It has to be 6 points. If it's not 6 points, we have serious issues. And again, I'm sorry, Keith, man. I know it. You're just sitting there. You're just hating it. You're just hating it. But they also play Praetorian Guard, which is another team fighting for their playoff life. And they have the Swift Pups. So they do not have an easy run. Swift Pups is going to be a tough series. Praetorian Guard, who's playing for a playoff, is going to be a tough series. I see 6 points that they can grab, but then they need 2 series wins. I don't know that 10 points is going to be enough to get them in. And when I say 10 points, that's 6 for a sweep on worst case and then losing each series while grabbing 2 points. I don't foresee 10 being enough for them to get in. So, Agent, what do you think, man? Imagination Land, is this a team that gets in for you, or is it just based on schedule and different things? It's just not going to be enough.
I mean, obviously, like you said, they have to sweep tonight. That's without a doubt. And again, everybody knows I like Swag, man. I took them when nobody else liked them in the draft. So, but they have to take 6 points. They have to. There's no doubt about it. And their next series is huge. They're playing the Pups, man. We have a big game against them tonight, actually. So that'll be a big determining factor for us on where we kind of line up. But for them to solidify their playoff spot, they have to sweep tonight, and they got to take a minimum of 4 points the next series against the Pups. Without that, I think they're not putting their position in their own hands, you know. And I think that's what Brick, Figo, all those guys are about. You know, and I'm assuming Figo is not going to play tonight. He'll probably play the Pup series if he can make it. You know, obviously the schedule is one thing that really hurts that team too. You know, arguably their second best player on the team, he makes half the games. I mean, even if they do make playoffs, it still makes a huge impact. You know, so I like the team as a whole. Like you guys said, had McGill on the team. I love McGill. He's the first captain that brought me home and he let me start. So I had a lot of fun, and I know McGill really well. But I like the team as a whole. And I like their chance to make playoffs. I think they make playoffs. I think they squeak in very minimally.
And, you know, you bring up the Figo availability thing, and it just goes to show you, like, yeah, you're getting these great players with these availabilities and the Chew Therapies of the world and the Figos of the world. But you really got to know how to manage the part-time stuff. And I know Figo signed up full-time. I know Chew signed up full-time, but they're part-time guys when you look at it. I know Figo's gotten in a lot of games, but it's been a nightmare. It's been reschedules, and luckily a lot of the captains have been nice. You know, moving forward, that might not be able to be a thing. You know, so I think they have enough to get in. I think the schedule is okay for them to get in, but they do not have easy series. I think it's ultimately going to come down to the last night of the season, which is so exciting, by the way, because you have Praetorian Guard, who's sitting right there at in the thick of it, and you have Imagination Land, who both could potentially be fighting for an 8th or 7th seed. And we're going to touch on this, but that's a really tough round 1 series for whether it's Drop Pass Murphys or Swift Pups or Knights of the Frozen Throne. And we're going to get to that because there's a lot of teams still fighting for that number 1 spot. It is not over. The drop pass Murphys have not run away with that yet. So we're going to get to that shortly. But there's one more team I want to touch on. That's the Diddling Danglers. Desired Customs, Diddling Danglers. This is a team that I didn't even realize was in it. I remember them playing us pretty tough. But they actually kind of they control their own fate, but they're not quite as in a, oh my God, Matt, English. They're not as comfortable as, say, like a Netflix and Shell. Now, the Dialing Danglers actually have a really tough run, and that could ultimately be their demise because they play worst case Ontario, which I'm sorry, but Swagger's team seems to be playing all the teams right now currently in the hunt for that last 2 playoff spots. So they play worst case Ontario, Raising Cane. Raising Cane is currently sitting in the 6th seed. That's 6 points that Raising Cane needs to get, so that's going to be a big series. And then they play Non-Consensuals, which is C-Dub's team, currently sitting in the 4 seed or the 3 seed. and then they play Chili Con Carnage. Like, those are really, really, really tough games. So they do control their own fate because these are all teams, except for one, ahead of them in the playoffs. All of those teams. So I'll send it to you, Agent. You've played with Dank. He's over there. Is this a team? BTW's over there. They seem to be clicking a lot better. But is this a team that you think has a long shot of really getting into the postseason?
A long shot. A long shot would be the correct term. Yes. It's going to be a stretch, man. For them to make playoffs, they have to play outstanding, and they have to hope people that should be playing outstanding play terribly. And I just think it's a recipe for disaster. I think they kind of they've been playing decent as of late, but they're playing 500, they're not playing like they want to make playoffs. They're playing like they're content where they're at. So I don't see them making playoffs, sadly enough. I think it's hard to say because Dank's a guy that can score at will. I mean, a lot of people know me and Dank did not see eye to eye when I was on that team, man. Not even for the slightest bit. But I don't hate the guy. It's just a clash of, how we are, personalities. But the guy is good. He can play. He can score. And I think it's a team that should be making playoffs. It's not. That's the simplest way to put it.
I think that as the team is constructed now, I think they're a lot better off. I think that the team that DC originally had may not have been a playoff team, but you have Luka coming back from vacation, so that's big for them. They need him. That's kind of a big thing. They have Bubba Man, who was playing really strong that last series last couple series kind of brought him back down. He's got about an 80 save percentage, 2.4 goals against. But the Danglers, as far as how they're scoring, they're right in that. I'm just looking it up now. 63 goals for, 91 against. That is awful. You cannot make playoffs with that. Now, listen, here's the thing. The damage has been done. The goal differential is what it is, and they're still there. They need to click the offense. Ability, is this a team that you can see really sneaking in, controlling their own fate, or ultimately is it just too tough of a schedule down the stretch?
The scheduling is going to definitely play a big part in this one. I don't see the firepower from this squad. Like, the names are there. You got the names that all have the firepower, but the team's not clicking. This actually would be Dom Silva's version of no #Kemp. Okay? DC picks up Santeria, and he says, man, I got to get Santeria. We played together a season before. We have Kemp. Well, what? I mean, you guys combined, I think you have like 80 points combined. But I think DC's underperforming a little bit too. That guy himself, if he had a little bit more time to possess the puck solely, I think the team would have more goals than they currently have. So I don't know exactly what's really not clicking for this squad. I've been so focused on my own team, I really haven't spent a whole lot of time watching too many other teams, and this isn't one team that I've been watching. Watched a couple games, but I didn't get a chance to see a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of goals being scored. They were on defense. I tell you what, man, you guys just got to get something together. I don't know if this team practices, but if now's the time, man. You're sitting in 27 games. You have a chance to make a playoff spot. You just got to make shit happen. As soon as Luka gets back, get in the locker room, whip some towels around, hopefully with clothes on, and make some shit happen. All right, guys? It's 239 playoff hockey we're talking about. Get there.
And we don't have another show until, obviously, Thursday next week. And I think there's only – I want to say there's one or two series on Thursday. So this thing is going to not be decided, but it's going to be pretty close to a wrap. So that's the Danglers, man. I question the goaltending. I like what Luka's done this year, but I just feel that it's not going to be enough. And with the offense struggling as bad as it was or as bad as it is, that's insane number, 63 or whatever I said it was. That's just not going to get it done. And I know the number's a little inflated. They had 12 goals against. They had a waiver who said he played goalie, but was not a goalie. But either way, it doesn't make up for the offensive woes. I just don't think I don't think they're going to get in. I think it's too little too late. I like the team better now, but I don't see it happening. So that covers kind of the not bottom of the standings, but the playoff race, different things like that. So let's move up to the top. So there's an interesting dynamic, and I got some answers on it today. Shout out to Saney. He messaged me and kind of filled me in. The Swift Pups. Now, the Swift Pups have been in the top 3 seeds for pretty much, all season. There's a scenario that came up where the Drop Pass Murphys decided to bench Saney, who was available. Gugatron was unavailable. Donnywood was away for work, and apparently Schwartz was unavailable to play as well. So Murph had 2 waivers come in. Instead of rescheduling the series, chose for 2 waivers and basically not through the series. They got 2 points, but he ran with a lineup that you would maybe question. And now he's stacking that lineup tonight versus We Give 60, which I found out earlier today. I didn't know what was happening, whatever the case was. But my question is, are people kind of overlooking the Swift Puffs? I mean, and if they are, they shouldn't be. And I'll tell you why, and then I'll let you guys take the floor. But watch your back is a top 3 goalie in this league. That's fantastic. Rondon Vellante and Drift King. It's time to get Steven. I don't know if you guys know this. We bust on Steve a lot. He's actually a very, very solid defenseman. His one-on-one game's tough at times, but he's really good on his breakouts. He's quick with the puck. He's perfect for what Regretzky's wants. Rondon Vellante is going to be a staple if he signs up on D for seasons to come. The guy's the real deal. It still makes me scratch my head that Swagger had him and who else had him? I forget. The guy wasn't even drafted, mind you. Then he was picked up. He was dropped again. He was picked up again for the Thug thing. He was traded once. He was traded twice. Brian gets him as a throw-in, and then he's like, this dude's fucking legit. So you have that, and then you have the 4 lineup of Esoteric, Wanisimov, who's had a great season. Esoteric's had a great season too, and No Regretskys himself, who's on pace to have another phenomenal season offensively. So if people are overlooking this team, they really shouldn't be, because first and foremost, they've given up 54 goals in 30 games. That's less than 2 a game. So, and they've scored 89 in 30. So they're averaging 3 goals and giving up less than 2. That's fantastic. That's really good for those of you who cannot math. I just don't understand the oversight. So Saney did reach out to me because when I wrote that, I was like, oh, hey, people are overlooking this team, but he informed me about all the scheduling issues, and basically it was bad availability. But I want to ask the question anyways. Ability. Do you think that the Swift Pups are a team that people are overlooking because of Rondon Vellante? Who is he? Wanisimov? Who is he? Drift King on defense? Why is that a thing? Is this a reason that this team is getting overlooked?
I think that not knowing a couple of the players that well probably is part of it. But I think if you are a captain or in this league and you know anything about anything, or you listen or see stats or you do anything, you should know not to underestimate this squad. No Regretskys. For those that don't know, this guy is a championship caliber player. He's not to be overlooked. He's right up there with the best of them, even if you haven't heard his name a whole lot, or as much as you probably should have. I've gotten a chance to play with Wanisimov. I don't know anything about Rondon Vellante other than all of the incredible comments I've been hearing about this guy. So he's the real deal. Be prepared. Then you got Esoteric. This guy he's like a tiger that's just in the fucking weeds, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, after being calm for like 4 fucking days, he jumps out and he snatches you. And he's playing well on this team. He likes this team. He likes being on this team. This dude's waking up. So this squad as a whole is one of the top contenders in this league. They've been at the top of the standings for a reason. And unfortunately, my team has to play him tonight. So I don't know how I feel about that yet. I can tell you I just picked up my controller. While we're finishing up this show, I'm going to go jump in the pipes and get a little practice in, because these guys are going to be throwing things at me that I'm not prepared for. And I know I'm not prepared for. Fuck you guys. That's a pre-fuck you guys I just gave you right there. Don't underestimate this team. These guys are the real deal. I expect to go out there tonight and have a hell of a series, and I hope I don't see Chew Therapy. Chew, I hope you're working or something, man. Be at the casino tonight. Take the night off. Thanks.
The thing I worry about with Swift Pups, personally, and this is going to sound crazy, but I just feel that sometimes, I know I'm going to hear about this, sometimes Noah Gretzky's he has X-Daily syndrome. where he tries to just do a little bit too much. And sometimes the best play is to get rid of the puck. I'm going to be interested to see how he plays tonight against an aggressive D pair in Dolly and Drug, because the lanes are going to be there, but they got to be quick. And I think that if he can do that, and trust Esso and Wanisimov, this is the draw. When I look at this team, I see Brian with Regretzky's with 74 points. I see Esso with 55. I see Wanisimov with 40. Those are big discrepancies. Those are 20-point swings. That's big gaps. He's gotta trust Esso. He's gotta trust Wanisimov. He's gotta let these guys be involved. What do you think, Agent? Maybe not about that point, but what do you think about the pups? Are they being overlooked, or do you think people are taking these guys serious? Do you agree with what I said, what the ability said? What do you think?
I agree with the majority of what you guys said, but one thing I look at is, okay, you take the series. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. They played. Who'd they play? When they played a bunch of waivers. Oh, drop past Murphys. How does that team with 2 fucking waivers play you guys that close for 3 games? Tell me. I mean, yes, B Cripps has his play. I understand that. He definitely 180% does. But there's no way in hell that team with 2 waivers belongs even in the same realm as you guys. So something's happening there that maybe people don't realize that maybe shouldn't be happening. I'm gonna have the luxury to play the team twice this season. I played them on the non-consensuals, and we won that series, and we get to play them again tonight. And I'm excited to see how the turnout. I mean, we had a super, super, super close series against them last time, and it was fun. You know, Regretzky's, like you said, is a guy that's very, very good, and I think you hit the head on the nail, man. The guy, when they're down, he wants the puck. He is the one that wants the puck in his hands, and he wants to make it happen. He wants to make the team go, which props to him. Most of the time he can do it, but not all the time. You know, there's reason there's 4 other skaters on the ice with you. You know, I see the team obviously doing well in playoffs, but I'm excited to see how tonight's series goes. Dales, what's your thoughts on the series tonight? How do you think the series is going to end up tonight between the Knights of the Frozen Throne and Swift Pups?
Well, I was going to kind of get to it. So my belief, or my looking at it, is kind of okay. So you have this. It's weird. You guys' last 12 games have been against teams. I think Imagination Land was the toughest team that you played, and that's a series that you got to win. But this isn't to like undermine the 12-game win streak. But you beat Bullet Club, you're supposed to. You beat #Chem, you're supposed to. I think worst case Ontario might have been in there. You're supposed to. Imagination Land, you swept them. You know, they're a good team. This is going to be a real test for the Frozen Throne tonight, because in between that 12-game win streak, they swept We Give 60, and then they got swept by Netflix and Chell. So they're 15-3 over their last 18 games, and it's all been sweeps all the whole way. I think this is going to be a close series tonight. I think the keys to the game for the Frozen Throne is how do we contain Regretzky, and if they're able to contain Regretzky, how do Wanisimov and Esoteric play into this series? Because for me, I think that this is going to come down to secondary scoring tonight. I think both teams know what they need to do. I think both teams know what they have to do, and I think secondary scoring is going to be super, super crucial. I think that Swift Pups are focusing on Cosmic Fade. It's going to come down to Agent and Jelly tonight. They've been getting Frozen Throne have been getting tremendous production out of their back, and Dalai Lama literally is averaging almost 2 points a game as a defenseman. There's nobody else close to that, so they're getting contributions back there. Drug is currently second in points amongst defensemen, so the D-men are producing at an incredibly high level. So I think those are going to be the focuses. At the end of the day, it's a coin flip for me. I'm going to go Swift Pups, but the reason I'm going Swift Pups is, and mind you, Frozen Throne swept us, okay? So this is not an undermine of that team. That's a phenomenal team, and they're a really good team. In this specific matchup, though, I just like the secondary scoring of Swift Pups, and Agent's not going to want to hear that. I just like it just a little bit more than I do for Frozen Throne. So I think secondary scoring is going to be big tonight. So I'm gonna take the pups. I know. Go ahead,
It's
man.
fine.
Speak
It'll
your
be an I
piece.
told you so moment later. Don't worry about it. Let it go.
Speak your piece ability. Go ahead, man. I see you
It'll be
doing
an
the
I told you
play.
so moment later.
I just think it's kind of funny that earlier today I was looking over Hansel Roberto's picks, and then I get to listen to X Daily picks and how similar they are.
Listen, we all know I don't type that good, like at all. So,
Oh, you mean
Agent,
spelling team names? Yeah, it's really tough.
Agent, what do you think? What do you think, man? Give me your insight
You're
for
wrong.
tonight.
You're wrong.
I
Period.
need more. But do you think secondary scoring? Do you think secondary scoring is going to play a big part?
Oh, 100%. Okay, so take me and OP Jelly out of it. Take your defenseman. Just put your defenseman in. I think we have a better defensive core. Okay, yeah, we might. They have an awesome goalie. You've said it multiple times. Holtby or watch your back, but do the top three goalie. There's no doubt about it. He's proved it all season. But in all reality, I don't think they have the better secondary scoring. I mean, look at the standings. It shows it. Look at the points total from teams and players on the team.
Well, this is all you really need to know, right? So earlier today, I was talking to Noah Gretzky's, and I was talking with Walker. Walker wants to get in, right? I told Walker, I said, hey, man, I told the squad I'm not going to jump out of the pipes again until I lose the game, so that hasn't happened. So I shared this information with Noah Gretzky's, and his reply was, man, he said, well, I'll tell you what, being the nice guy I am, I'll do my best to make sure Walker sees the pipes by game 2. So I don't know, man. We got a little chirping going on. It's going to be a fun series. I'm excited to see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I have much respect for Esso and Rogevsky's and Watch Your Back and everybody on that fucking team, man. They're all good. They're all good dudes. Nobody's an asshole, and that's probably the bigger thing yet. Nobody's an asshole on that team, man. They're all fun, but I mean, the series ain't gonna go what you think.
All right, I have a confession to make, by the way. So in that whole tussle of everything, when I was like, "No, Agent, you got to give me more than that," you know, I had to pee so bad I just pissed in a water bottle. That's literally the reason that I had to send that to you, because I had to pee so fucking bad that I literally had a bottle. That's why I was like this, because I was literally pissing. I was pissing into a water bottle. Listen, man, it's a Thursday Throwdown. There's only 3 of us. I didn't have time to get up and go. I would show the remnants of the bottle. Like, I drink a ton of water, so it's like, it's clear, but it's definitely pee.
You know, every show we have one of these moments. Like, I keep having this vision of what the show could be, and like every show, there's a moment where I'm like, it's never going to be that. It's
like,
just not.
I had to pee. It's really warm too, so it's like a thing. But listen, sometimes you're on the sometimes, man, listen, you're on the Throwdown. You just gotta go. It's a thing. I left the Throwdown once to go take a piss. That was embarrassing. So, like, you know, I figured at least I'd tell everybody. First time for everything. But if we ever go that route, you know, ability, obviously I would have to work on that sort of thing.
We need like a word. We need a code word. Like, all right, pineapple.
Listen, man. I did. I peed in a bottle. It's a thing. Most people would be ashamed by that. Also, I've shit my pants more than I care to admit. I mean, if you've ever been in a party with me, I've told those stories too.
Can I just get the Daily Voice describing himself pissing in the bottle?
Well, no, it was like this. I was like, hey, Agent, I need more than that. You're like, we're going to win. No, I'm like, no, seriously, I need more than that. And then, like, it was just like.
We went. I was just giving you a little shit to start. I planned on it, but.
It was.
This just in YouTube chat. Self Luca T, fresh off vacation. We need a pee bottle shirt. 239 store. Make it happen.
He needs a what?
A pee bottle shirt.
Oh, a pee bottle shirt?
Make it happen.
Dude, Dominator Silva is all over that. Speaking of which, guys, 239 guys and gals. Sorry, my bad. 239 store up and running as always. I got to get with Dom, man. We don't have any new merch, so maybe we could work on some new merch. I know there's a 239 Tonight t-shirt out there. A pee bottle shirt would be hilarious. That's a thing. I literally had to, man. Like, I didn't know what else to do. I mean, if it was a shit, I would have went upstairs. You can't poop in a bottle. So there's that. But yeah, it was the thing.
You can't try though.
I'm a fucking mess out here. Just a fucking mess. But it's whatever. So the last thing I had on the docket tonight, and this is kind of interesting. And the reason this is interesting is because drop past Murphy's for the better part of the season. Not for the better part. They started out 9-0, red hot, the whole thing. They've been in first place all season. But is there a realistic scenario heading into playoffs that we could see drop past Murphy's not be the number 1 seed? Now, the reason I say this is quite simple. They play 3 teams that are all in contention for playoffs, 2 of which that are currently sitting in the top 5, and that's Knights of the Frozen Throne, which is your guys' team, and We Give 60, which is my team. Now, versus you guys, they cannot use
either of their part-timers.
They can't use Saney or Schwartz because they stack that week. That becomes problematic. Now you're talking about two waivers, I believe. You have to use 2 waivers. No, they have to use at least 1 waiver. You'll have Donnywood, Gugatron. Oh, no, they won't have to use any. They have Donnywood, Gugatron, and Murph up front, and then they would use BBX and Demented Spud on D with Crips and Net. So, but they don't have Schwartz, they don't have Saney, so they got to battle without both of those guys. Still a very good lineup. Then they play We Give 60 tonight, in which they are stacking out. You have Saney and Schwartz. That's going to be a battle. And then their last series is against Netflix and Chell. I don't know the ramifications of that. I don't know if that was a reschedule or what. I don't think it was. So I think they would have those players available to them. With a 5-point lead and even games across, there is scenarios where this team is not the number 1 seed. Is that hard to believe, Ability? And do you think it's a realistic possibility that happens?
I don't know, man. I'm staring at a team. They're 23-5, 2 overtime losses. So let's say 23-7, right? Yeah, that's a pretty good record. I don't think these guys really have at any point showed a sign of slowing down, and I know that they're playing well together. Not being able to have a couple of their core guys going up against my squad, that could be problematic because we have only been getting better. So, but who's to say? Because, the funniest thing is we sit here and we break down all this stuff. The game itself from game to game changes dramatically. So there's a scenario where they're not the number 1 team, but I don't know if it actually ends up being or coming to fruition because this squad right here is playing well together. And I think that they picked up a couple pieces they needed to really fulfill it. So I think they're going to hold on to the number 1 spot. I really do. I think that everybody else right now that's up there, we're fighting for second place, which, it's not a big deal. First and second, there's a lot of talent up at the top of this board. If they relinquish that number 1 spot, I'd say that has to be probably the biggest upset to end the season.
I actually like Netflix and Chell's team, but here's the thing. B Crips is still on that team. So people are asking, how did they lose a game? Well, B Crips played out of his mind. That's how they lost. And we talk about this on other shows, like goalies stealing games. B Crips stole one. He was really good. And it happened. And I think Swift Pups only scored 4 goals. Here's the thing. Yes, there's a scenario, in my opinion, where this team doesn't finish 1. But I don't think that the We Give 60 series is going to be a sweep. I don't think that the Frozen Throne series is going to be a sweep. I think those are good teams. I don't think Netflix and Chell will be a sweep. I think that those are going to be tough-fought series. I think they're going to come right down the middle. So I just don't see it happening. Jesus Christ, Agent, you're a fucking mess.
My laptop died. It wasn't plugged in on the wall, so I am a mess right now. I agree, 100%. But I went and got the phone, and I'm ready to rock again.
You walk.
Good for another 25 minutes, dude. Our series is starting late tonight. Fuck it.
You walk into the room like I don't even know, but it's crash. It's
because I had my hands full. I had a laptop and a mouse in one hand.
Did you headbutt the fucking door open dunk, just to get in. He's got no hands.
That's not true.
We've got Paul Bunyan over here with his Jim Carrey shirt on from Ace Ventura, and he's fucking headbutts the door like it's nothing. Just pop.
Gotta love it.
Got Daily pissing in bottles. Abilities vaping out of his fucking eyeballs, man. Who the hell put this cast together for? Oh my god. Anyways, we're talking about drop past Murphy's. Is there any way in your mind? No, oh Jesus Christ. Did you name it or something? Shania.
No, I didn't give it a name. It just it's got its own name. Undisputed champion. That's what I call it.
Oh my god. Like, what's it like, man? What's it like being you? What's it like?
I gotta be honest, sometimes it's horrible, but other times it's just magnificent. It's
Go-
shiny.
You know what? Hey.
It's reflective almost.
Yeah, you know what else is tiny, smooth, and reflective? Your fucking penis head. How about that? How is that for a fucking trying to keep it
there's
good?
been enough penis on this throwdown. I'll hold mine. Yeah, we're good.
Man, I was holding mine, man. I was aiming real strong, real straight, real true. Listen though, here's the thing. I just don't think there's any way. I think those are all going to be tight series. I think drop past Murphy's in the end is your number one seed. But this is where it starts to get interesting because I realistically, I said in the beginning of the show.
Talk. Who do you not have confidence in? You guys tonight or us next week?
What do you mean? Versus Murphy's?
Yeah.
I think we're getting the tougher lineup. I mean, I think
I'm not arguing that.
I think it's no excuse though. I think to win in this league, like you have to be ready for everybody's best. And the way I go into it is it's but a man. Like there's but a man on the other end of the controller doing what you're doing what I'm doing. And, yes, there are players who are extraordinary. There are players who are exceptional, but everybody is human. And that is why I draft certain players to play a certain way. And I hope that they buy into what we're doing.
I'll never make an X Daily lineup.
I never said that. But I just think that, like I said, I think it's going to be a tough matchup tonight. I'm hoping for no blowout games either way. I want a tight series, and I think we're going to get that tonight. So I'm excited to see. But I think that you guys you swept us, man. You guys are so good. You're so fast. I said to my guys, and we all agreed. We felt a clip behind against you guys. I know, Agent, you weren't on the squad yet, and that even changes things more. We felt a clip behind. So. Yeah, go help her, man. Just headbutt in the door.
I already gave her the finger. I was like, you gotta wait.
But
Agent.
Yeah.
You suck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he got after it. So I look at it, man. So if Murphy's and Frozen are, let's say, finish 1-2 with Pups at 3, then you have Consensuals 4. We give 65, Concarnage 6. Like, those are all teams that have beaten each other, or one team blew the other out but got swept by the other. There's a lot of parity. There's more than I actually thought when I dove in and looked, man. So I'm excited. Playoffs are literally, a week and a half away. So, but that's all I got, guys. Cut a little short tonight. I know you have a series. I have a series, but Agent, do you have anything on the way out?
Nah, man. I'm looking forward to the series tonight. Good luck to the Swift Pups. I think it'll be a good series. Good luck to everybody else in 239 that's still fighting for a playoff spot. Best of luck to you. Hope you make it. I probably pissed some people off tonight. I'm sure Daly pissed some people off tonight. Get fucking used to it. Welcome to the Thursday Throwdown.
Hey, he said pissed. Pun intended, by the way. That happened.
Fact!
Ability, man. What do you got before you head out for a big series tonight?
Yeah, so Daly, sometimes pisses people off, but is elevating the game to soon to be pissing on people. So watch out for that.
I thought you were totally drinking your piss bottle for a second. I lost it.
No, man, I made sure to cap that one up. You see how it's like yellow? It's just a little.
Oh my god! Jesus.
Sorry. Anyways,
I don't have anything past that. Okay, I'm good. 239. I love you. Have a hell of a fight. Trying to get into playoffs. Damn it, teams. Work your fucking magic. Get together. Make it happen. I got faith in a lot of you, but you're letting me down. Do this shit.
I'll leave you with this. Where are you going to go in the land of 239 and get somebody pee on a live stream? Where are you going to go in the land of 239 and watch somebody
Send it off. My phone's at 1%.
Make out with the belt? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to get a guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt and sometimes decides to show up? The answer is no other place than the Thursday Throwdown. Guys and gals, as always, I am your host, X to the D to the A to the L to Y. Good luck to everybody tonight, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace out, 239.
Say bye.
Will!
Bye.